So I've got a couple things here to show you. This is my Hickory nutcracker that I built, and I got a nut called SO06. It's a pretty long nut that orients very well. And the orienter, they come in whatever direction, and then it changes direction to the belt direction based off of the physics of that. And then sometimes they come off a little wrong, so we have a reorienting belt that orients less but is able to orient more accurately. And they come down and are grabbed and then drop, and they're cracking pretty darn good right now. This nut cracks good, not great in my opinion, and they're coming out. I wish it's not crushing the kernels. The kernels are moistened and I can extract a lot of halves out of this. I don't have two hands to peel it away, but you can see that they're cracking out really well. Come down just perfectly oriented, or grabbed and dropped in. So then, it's out of nuts right now. So I have a nut that cracks a little bit better. Snack Shack. Snack Shack works pretty well in this machine. It doesn't orient as well as SO06. But it does orient pretty well. Snack Shack just tracks so well in every direction that it hardly even matters if it orients well. So they're all coming down in line. And grabbed. Snack Shack doesn't grab as well as cleanly, and you can see it's coming out where you could easily extract halves from it. Every once in a while it misses a nut. There's definitely glitches going on. Definitely things to work through still. See, that nut was missed. But we're getting pretty freaking close. So yeah, Brandon Rudder built this cracker head out of metal for me. Thank you, Brandon. And then I built the rest of the machine. And I guess what's going on here is we have this belt, this conveyor belt, that's going at maybe 120% of the speed of this belt. And this belt is just run by a little motor up here, a little gearbox motor. So yeah, this is going a little slower, and the physics are that it's essentially moving forward while also being pushed directly against the wall perpendicularly. The same thing is going on here, so this belt is moving a little faster. This is at 28 RPMs, this one's at 40 RPMs. But yeah, they're all coming down, getting grabbed and cracked, and then they kind of even shatter a little bit, hitting the bucket, and somewhat fall out of the shell, which is cool. But yeah, this is run by a PLC, an air compressor. Air compressor is clearly running low on air because I don't want it to run while I'm talking. But yeah, everything's working pretty well right now. So as far as I know, this is the first automatic Hickory nutcracker that can crack well to halves. So that's exciting. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely not going to be the last Hickory nutcracker. It's not going to be the best Hickory nutcracker throughout the next decade. Like this piece of machinery, this indexing section where it puts out one nut at a time, definitely could be different. It should be an entirely different design. What I would suggest is, like having a scoop on a chain. That's a pretty classic way of, like a scoop on a chain going through a pile of nuts. That's a classic way in the nut world of getting one nut at a time and dropping it out really cleanly without any issues. I'm kind of compensating for the flaws of this programmatically. And yeah, there's definitely some issues with it. But I'll pour out these nuts just to show it a little better. But it's not just obliterating the nuts like a crowding plate or a cone type cracker would. It's working okay. And yeah, I don't have the stats on how effectively this is able to crack nuts out well. I'm definitely happy with it. This would be great for a pre-crack to sell. And yeah, I guess the one thing to notice is yesterday it wasn't cracking good because I did not moisten my nuts. But last night I soaked my nuts in a bucket for 30 minutes and then drained the water, put them out in a flatter area to kind of dry, surface dry a little bit, and then once they were surface dried, mostly maybe like 80%, 90%, then I put them back in the bucket and covered it overnight so they could kind of re-moisten the kernel. But even last night, they were cracking out really good after they were surface dried. So yeah, cracking around 7.5% moisture is what the pecan industry does, and that's what I'm intending on doing. But yeah, well, there's the Lineage nutcracker. Thanks for Brandon for helping out, and this is the beginning of Hickory's commercial potential as far as I understand it.